Welcome to Let's Have the Conversation, where healing, decolonization, and truth telling meet. I'm your host, Desiree B. Stevens, and around here, we're not just talking, we're making shift happen. What do you think? I'm excited. I'm excited too, Tiffany. Alexa, pause. I have been missing you guys so much. Alexa, stop. I've been missing you guys so much. Can you hear me? I brought back my fuzzy mic. It has been insane. Okay, let me tell you. This was not. Oh, you do love it? Thank you, Angela. It's great to see you guys again, too. It has not been like, oh, look at this relaxing, lovely 2 weeks off. Some of you follow me on my Facebook as well, so you get to see my personal life, which is insane. So week one, what was happening week one? Y'all, week one was statewide testing. And Karen needs special supports during statewide testing. So I'm super thankful that his school, it's a charter school, and they are a newer school, a few years, but they are so forward thinking and forward motion that they're like, okay, how do we support this kid? I was at school every day the first week off, like literally from the morning until like early afternoon, like 1 o'clock. So it just was so timed and aligned to work because I was there sitting outside of his testing room so he can get the one-to-one support. And then if he was dysregulated or anything, I'm what kind of co-regulates Kier. And so they wrote that in and allowed me. So week one, that is what I did. I was in school every single day with the tiny human, which was cool. Week two, it's still been just fielding that. He is out of school. And so we've been home. And I'm like, it does not felt like any time off, but it was nice. I took a bit. Oh, T'Challa's outside. Shady, you want to go get him in the front? Back to Coffee Cats and Des. Um, uh, it was a little bit slow, so I have not answered like reader responses or any of that kind of stuff, which I will be getting more into this week now that I am fully back. I've had some really uh, dope fun on comments and comments posts. I went like wildly viral on Sinners. It's been amazing. June is looking really promising for deeper work and partnering with other people. So honestly, it's been a great 2 weeks. So you tell me about your 2 weeks, and we will get into today's episode after my coffee sips.
I got him.
You did good job. Morgan is home because she's home. Look, I don't have a reason. I know. It's the end of the school year. Nobody has it in them. There's not really learning or anything going on.
Hello.
And they woke up, you see their makeup. They were like, oh, yeah.
I don't see the makeup.
I can see your makeup. It looks beautiful.
No, I can't see their makeup.
No, you can't see their makeup. You can see if they clap or if they see the hearts. They're sending you hearts.
They love me?
They love you. They said, Angela says, hello.
Hello, Andrea.
Carolyn says, good morning, Morgan. Tiffany says, hey, Morgan.
Hey, Morgan.
Well, that was Tiffany. She's saying that to you.
Hey, Morgan.
Okay, go back to whatever you were doing, Shady Baby. Okay, so I don't know if you checked out what we were doing on our podcast for this month, so I'm going to pull it up for you guys. Oh, Lisa also says good morning, and Michelle. Lord. She said, good morning, Michelle. She's my little, she's a ham. She is a ham. Okay, so let us get into what we are talking about today. Today, we are talking about grief in the process of the blooming season, right? I really do enjoy mimicking cycles of nature. If you've been with me for a while now, a few years, like Michelle has, Michelle knows that even when I was on Mighty Networks, I was like, look, we're going inside, right? It's winter. We're going to sit. Come summer, like it's a little bit lighter. You just can't get into things all the time. And I really want us to activate more of that natural cycle, that biomimicry.
Back?
Very cool. Very cool. In our lives, right? Especially when we're doing this healing work. This morning, all articles are free on Monday. So this morning, Morgan has decorated the headphone case and wants to share that with you guys. It's beautiful. Mondays are always free, so it's opening it up. And I kind of introduce people to why I do the work in this sort of way, right? Because some people will come in and be like, this isn't anti-racism work. This doesn't look like, decolonization. And I'm like, but it is, right? Because when we recognize that these systems are built into us, right? When I first went on my own decolonization journey, somewhere at 20 something years old, I've shared the story before where my friend Jason pointed out my own white privilege. And I'm like, are you looking at me? Because I'm looking at me. And I know that I'm not white, right? And my battle with moving through that and all of the unpacking that came with that for like 10 years, just like unpacking and doing that work, I realized that it was just something that's within me, right? Like my own life has positioned me for this work. And I was like, oh, we have to do this work as internal systems, right? As us treating ourselves like ecosystems, churning the soil, taking a rest, going in deeper, grief, joy, rest, all of the things, right? We are actually nature and we need to be mimicking that more. And you cannot intellectualize healing, it has to be embodied. So, what does that look like? And it looks like the way that my work presents itself. There goes my favorite. Follow Dr. Kimberly Douglas. She is amazing. I've worked with her for at least 2 years now, right, on neurodivergence. And a lot of what you see now, where you see it all packaged so neatly in a track, is because she is amazing leader for neurodivergent leaders to get your shit together, basically. And now I'm going to be like a powerhouse because now I also have business coach Kay Coughlin, who is like, absolutely not, which is what made me take the 2-week break and say, oh, I can't actually do this 5 days a week. So again, community, being nurtured, being poured into, all of the things to be cared for, right? You need to be tended to, just like nature. So you love the hair? Dr. Kim said, baby, that hair, listen, it's giving me everything. I found a brush. Do you guys want to see the brush? Stay right there. Stay right there. You probably can still hear me because my microphone, my cool little fuzzy mic. So I was following this new person that I found online. She's a young mom. She is mixed race. She identifies as biracial. That's a whole other thing to unpack. But anyway, she was brushing her hair with a brush. And so it's like excuse me, because I obviously was brushing my hair this morning. It's like a curling iron or a flat iron, but a brush. It was $25. And I have not done my hair for years, like straightened it, because I'm like, I'm not going through that hassle of, because I do it old school, like blow dryer style, like with the round brush. And I don't have time for that. Good morning, 60K and below Vix. Good morning, Laura. I don't have time to actually be blow drying my hair, like the pain and the wrist, just all of it. But look at that. Look. And it heats up like in seconds. I know this feels like an advertisement, but I swear to God, it's not. But it was worth my $25. And now that I could literally, I go from wet to straight in like 20 minutes. And I don't like it bone straight, right? Like I like the body. So it's like, yeah. And right now it's like humid out. So yes, I am loving it. I will forever keep a Farrah Fawcett haircut. I'm never letting that go, ever. I was like, oh, it's giving, glamour shots from the 90s. So thank you. Okay. What the heck? Look, I had unplugged it in and everything. Oh yeah, because I wanted you guys to see how smooth this thing works. So I will be doing that for you. I will be doing a full on demonstration. For $25, you cannot go wrong. All right. So what are we talking about today? That's probably the big question. All right. So,
I also decorate the AirPods.
Oh, you did a good job. Thank you. Take it back over there. I don't want it right now.
Keep it?
Can you keep what? Sure, you can. It's not that big of a deal. Good morning, Kat. Okay, so today we are talking about grieving in bloom season, right? What happens when the bloom doesn't come? Because too often we are pushed into this idea again, why, which was what I was talking about, is why I do the work from the lens and the angle that I do the work, right? Like whole self-healing. Do you have closed captions for death? I do not control anything, Lisa, that happens here. This is Substack, but I will say that the replay does automatically do captions. I cannot do captions live though. I have suggested that to Substack. So I'm sure that they will. They're really pretty good about user feedback. But I'll send that again also. Thank you for asking that, Lisa. Because that's super needed, right, to be accessible. The replay does automatically generate them. I don't, but Substack does. So there you go. Okay, so grieving in bloom season, when the bloom doesn't come. So we're talking about making space for the shadow, the sadness, and the slowness of the season, because too often we get like, you want this end result to happen from your healing work, from your anti-racism work, from your decolonization. You need it to happen now. Michelle says, hi, Lisa. In case you need it typed, the replay creates captions, but the lives don't. Okay. So we're going to still do the same format, right? The 3 talking points and all of that kind of stuff. And we're talking about grief during the season when you feel like you should be ahead, or, you know, where you're sitting down and you're like, oh, you know, but I've been doing this work so long and I don't see anything yielding. All of this stuff is happening. Okay. How are you going to process that, right? Here we go. Talking point 1. Bloom season isn't always blooming for everyone, right? 2, grief is not a disruption, it's a cycle. 3, you are allowed to move slowly, even now. Thank you for coming back, Lisa. I'm sorry about that inability for me. Again, I'll message Substack again about like live captions, but the replay definitely will. And if you are not a paid subscriber, because it is for paid subscribers, if you email me and you need a scholarship, I'm super duper happy to offer that. As a matter of fact, just email me and I'll offer that, simply because you cannot benefit from it live. So if you do that, I got you. All right, so let's get into it. The pressure to feel joyful in spring can feel suffocating when you're actually still grieving or unraveling, right? We're coming out of the 100 days of community. A lot of you guys have messaged me during this break, right? Just like what broke open for you, what happened, how this work is showing up for you inside of your communities, all the other community work that you're doing. And I've been loving those stories, right? And with the good is going to come some bad and some in between and some confusion and all of that kind of stuff. So we have to think about that, right? So when you see other people blossoming, blooming, right? It could feel like, well, when's my turn? What am I doing wrong? And that's not the energy that I want us to take in, right? So I said, when you're watching everyone like do like their garden parties, their glow ups, like look at me, my community is doing everything, but your own nervous system is asking for solitude and softness. What do? How do you deal with that kind of stuff, right? And in order to deal with that, I say that you have to take account that supremacy culture flattens our timelines, right? I wrote about this a couple years back for New Year. I'm like, you know, this is a Gregorian calendar. There are multiple calendars happening at the same time. And supremacy culture flattens time, makes everything linear. So nothing is cyclical anymore. This is, again, part of the reason why I do this work from the lens that I do it from, because it is insidious and it takes over every single aspect of our lives without us realizing it. And in order to dismantle it, we have to pull apart all of those things. Good morning, Britta, Ariana, and Sally. Nice to see you. So, supremacy culture flattens our timelines. It teaches us to conform, to perform, to match energy we may not even have. But liberation means honoring your internal season, even if it doesn't match what's happening on the outside. So, in that area, I ask you to reflect, where in my life am I pretending to bloom when I really need to be held? And just let that be enough. You don't owe anyone a performance of healing, right? In my front yard, I have plenty of things going on, right? I would show you, but there's cars in the way and I don't want to get up and go over there. I've already done that with the hair situation. But on the side line of my house, I guess you can kind of flip this over. All right. You could see those cool little elephant trees that are coming up. Yes, I have tire planters. And I have tire planters because that's a part of my malicious compliance story for another day. Apparently, you're not allowed to have tires in your yard, but if you planted them, you can. Yeah, I like to be a ball buster. Anywho, not every single one of them are blooming, right? There's one that's just like sitting there and it's like this big. There's others that are bigger. Or what? Everything in its own time, right? They all have the same soil. They all have the same. I'm not doing anything special. I'm a lazy gardener, right? They're getting the same amount of water, the same amount of sun, but everything is happening in its own time. And I want us to be more mindful about becoming nature, honoring nature cycles, right? And recognizing that even with all the same tools, all of the same access, things are going to be different, right? You're going to grow and bloom and come at it. There's a friend, Tiffany's talking to their friend, love seeing you here. They invited that friend. They didn't enjoy with the 100 days, and that's fine. They're here now. That's their time to bloom. That is what that looks like, right? Not forcing people to be in spaces or do work that they're not ready for. That is not liberation. That is 100% taking colonized mindset into your healing. And we are not bootstrapping healing the way that we can't bootstrap out of capitalism. Okay? Okay? Good job. Good morning, Patrice. I'm gonna take some more coffee. Hi, Dinah. Okay, second one. Grief is not a disruption, it's a cycle. Right? We get into things and it's like, oh no, we're not supposed to feel bad. We're not supposed to feel sad. We're supposed to always be joyous, always be performing. That is a whole hell no. That is an absolute no. I mean, hell no. No, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be frustrated. I'm going to be upset. I'm going to grieve. I'm going to go through whatever cycles I need to go through. Period, point blank, full stop. And I invite you to do the same. I implore you to do the same. So I gave an example. Think about compost. You know, I'm in my bag in the gardening season. Think about compost. The rotting is essential, right? Like you're literally putting food, organic material in to rot. That's what composting is. It's a rotting, and that's okay. Like we need that, right? For more nutrients. You got to let things die. There's an obsession in westernized worlds with life in all of the things. Like you got to let things die. It is not the end. It can quite literally, it's the end of one thing and the beginning of something else, no matter how you want to apply that. Let it die. Let it rot. So, where the heck was I? Okay. Think about compost. The rotting is essential. Just like how letting go, breaking down, and feeling it all is a part of becoming new. When we have been taught to rush through grief, and capitalism rewards productivity and punishes pause. But grief invites reverence. It slows us down so we don't bypass the lesson. Michelle says, I already know seeing grief as a cycle is going to help me because lately it has been again, I'm grieving again. Yes, yes. I am going to, yes, again, right? And it will happen in waves. And if you just allow it, you move through it in a different way. I don't want to say in a faster way, but you move through it in a more effective sort of way, right? You can honor, like I said, it brings that reverence. You can honor that moment. You can honor that memory. You can honor what it was, what it is becoming, what it is now, all at the same time, right? My husband and I have been separated for like 2 years now. He has a whole other life, a partner, they have children. And still the other day I seen something, like, my memory came up and I was like, oh, and it hit me in my chest. I have no desire to be with this man. Like, and God, I loved the hell out of him for 15 years. And it was beautiful when it was, right? But I could still feel the grief of like, oh, that didn't turn out the way I anticipated, right? I thought this would be forever. But I also can recognize I don't want this version of who this person was, which is what ended the marriage, et cetera, et cetera. And you can go through all of those grief cycles and hold the reverence, hold the memory. Wow, that was beautiful. This is hell. I don't want this, or whatever is going on. And yes, again and again and again, I will have these moments and I don't have to live there. I don't have to exist there. I am moving on with joy, but honoring the grief that comes with that. My mother has been passed on since 2009. The other day, I shared on my Facebook, I was like cleaning out Kieran's closet to make a little spatial area for him to be able to have some nervous system regulation. And I saw all these amazing pictures and jewelry and letters. And it was like, you kind of get okay with certain things, right? You're used to not having your parent, but then like all of that washed all over me again and again. And that's okay. That is just a part of the process. Oh, look at Ariana says, Tiffany, it's great to be here. I'm glad you feel it's great to be here, Ariana. Okay, I gotta open my laptop back up again. Sally says, grief is an amazing way for love to show up when we think it's gone. That was yummy. And now I'm going to cry. You guys know I don't like to be a sucker. I'm still processing my Gen X trauma of not showing emotion. But yes, I think that is a beautiful thing, right? Grief proves that we once loved, whatever that is, right? Or that we didn't know something, like all of it. It's so necessary. It's such a necessary part of our emotional processing that I really want us to embrace some more, right? Again, back to the trauma. I'm 46 years old. We were not allowed, there's no crying in baseball. We were not allowed to feel those things. So when you come from those generations, and we then imparted that on our children who broke away from us, that's why so many of us are estranged from our kids. But the more you allow yourself to feel, it's going to be foreign, right? It's going to be foreign because it was something that just is not allowed interpersonally and societally. Like, these systems do not want us to feel, to grieve, because then you have to sit down, very specifically white bodied people, when I'm doing this work of decolonization, you have to grieve what was lost in order to become white. And capitalism doesn't want you to do that because they need you to be the majority stakeholder inside of the business that is white supremacy and America. And if you sit down and you really grieve and you start saying, oh my God, I don't speak the language of my grandmother. Forget about your great great grandparents. You couldn't talk to your grandmother if you wanted to in her own native tongue, right? That holds some serious weight, right? You don't have a land that you belong to, which forces that consumption and that possession over this land. This is my country, my land, my home. But is it? Because we're all indigenous to somewhere. And when we are allowed to sit down and grieve those things, we want to unravel it. We want to return back to our true selves, to our whole selves. And that's why I believe that grieving is so deeply important. Lisa said, love is hidden in the little trinkets we save. It is. It really is. Angela says, I'm a death and abortion doula. And if any of you need support, I'm here. Angela, email me or inbox me your information so I could add it to this replay because, yes, people do. And I believe in death doulas and abortion doulas. I think that you guys are so necessary, right? Because, again, there's an odd obsession. It's not odd. There's a programmed obsession with life in Western culture that just does not exist in indigenous cultures around the globe. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, we've been taught to rush through grief. Capitalism rewards productivity and punishes pause, but grief invites reverence. It slows us down so we don't bypass the lesson. As a reflection for here, what grief have I been pushing past, right? Not dealing with and not, sitting with. What have you been pushing past? Like, I'm just going to put that on the sideburn. I'm going to put a pin in it. I don't need to feel that right now. I'm trying to push forward. Name it, honor it, let it speak, even if it whispers or if it wails, whatever that looks like. That is what I need for you to do for yourself. 3, you are allowed to move slowly, even now. Yes, in the midst of insane leadership. Because that man is a nut. Even in the midst of insane leadership, even in the midst of some of the worst human atrocities happening in the world, they have never not been happening. I hate to be the bearer of truth. I'm lying. I love to be the bearer of truth. But it has always been happening, right? For some, the truth of the matter is it just wasn't happening to you recently enough for you to be invested in it, right? So even now, it's still necessary to move slow, right? Even when there's urgency, and we spoke about that during the 100 days of community, it can be urgent and you can still prioritize. It can be urgent and you can still prioritize. And I am going to be the person that always says you have to take care of yourself first. I can't go out there and save the world if I didn't take care of me. I cannot show up deeply for you guys if I didn't take the 2 weeks off. I could not show up deeply for you guys if during the 2 weeks off I was just sitting here responding to every single thing that people was writing to me. That's not prioritizing me. I have to take care of me. I have to take care of my home. Like I said, the first week off and was just like divine intervention, how the universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. We ended on that perfect Sunday, which was an extension of the time we were originally supposed to end, for me then to be able to show up deeply, fully for my son. If I did not believe that I could move slow, I would never have taken that break. I would have something would have fallen short. Either you guys would have gotten rush time, or I would have resented having to show up, or my son's needs could not have been met. I don't like that. I like synergy. I like to move in accordance with the rhythms of the needs that are happening in my life. I want you to do the same thing. So yes, even now, you are allowed to move slow. So I gave an example because I like to do that. Maybe your bloom looks like breath work instead of a business launch. Maybe it's staying in bed instead of running towards reinvention. Maybe it is a business launch. I don't know, right? Only you are going to be able to say what that looks like, right? Can you move slow within the things that you're doing? Decolonizing our healing means embracing non-linear growth. It means choosing softness over speed. Rest is not a delay, it is a decision to care for what's sacred. And you're sacred. That's the remembrance I want to bring to you, that you are sacred, you are divine, right? That's the severance. When we talk about supremacy culture, specifically when I talk about supremacy culture, I talk about how it disconnects us from what? Land, people, ourselves. People would be community because that was the language I was using. Land, community, and ourselves, right? So we have to return back to that. Decolonization is the act of returning back to home, back to self, back to our practices, right? Releasing all of this other stuff. That's going to mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, depending on where you're at, which is full circle. You bloom when you're ready, right? Where you are on the journey is not where I am on the journey. So what you see me put out into the world, or what I share, I did FurryCon. Oh my God. This has been a kick-ass 2 weeks. See, I wouldn't have time for none of that, right? Like that after the week with Kier in school, I was at FurryCon with Erin. I've never been to FurryCon. It was so much fun. It was a full weekend. I don't know why I went into this. Welcome to ADHD. But oh, I guess like just the enjoying life or whatever. I don't really remember how I got into there. It's the decision for care for the sacred, you're sacred, divine, coming back, returning, decolonization, healing. I don't know, but it was so much fun. Like that, we just showed up and we were having a really good time. And I think that that really what that point was. I don't know. I lost it somewhere in there. So maybe it's just not meant to be out here in the moment. But kind of coming back to this whole thing. Oh, it was a full circle. The blooming. You bloom when you're ready. Um, you bloom when you're ready, right? So in regard to the furry con, we were going there. And Erin is not somebody that is a social person of sorts, right? But throughout that weekend, I watched them blossom. I watched them, come up to people and feel seen and feel welcomed, and like, okay, I'm gonna hug. They have these like cool consent badges. I am who I am everywhere I go. So mine was like, talk to me, give me hugs. Erin is like, big red no, don't talk to me, don't touch me. And I'm like, hey, friends. And then like you could see them opening up, and it became yellow and it became green. And then Karen came with us on Mother's Day on the Sunday. So it was just a really good example of how you take the time that you take. Right. And you cannot be on someone else's timeline. I don't anticipate my children to be who I am. I don't anticipate you to be who you are. And when I was sharing the FurryCon thing, I was saying, in regard to, you may not be where I am, right? On that, I shared in community. I was like, I am deeply held in community. People will see my life and be like, oh, you're doing this. Or I told them very specifically, I was like, do not ever look at my life that I share very forward facing and think that I am successful by the ideals of capitalism. I carry a lot of credit card debt for my life. But that's it. I'm okay with that. That's where I'm at with life. But I'm also deeply held in community, right? So we had a moment where I was like, yeah, I'm not buying these paws. It was beautiful for Erin. I wasn't buying the paws, but I had bought like the tail and the ears, and that cost its own money. A couple of people, like my friend Amy, shot me $40 for my Remnick write up. Somebody else was like $10 for Erin for, for more furry things. And I'm like, that's community, right? And I don't want anybody watching that and be like, well, why don't I get this? I don't, I've cultivated this over years. This is not, I woke up one morning and this is who I was. I became this, and you will too, right? So, I know it's hot. Don't touch. Dinah says, I love that. Go at your own pace. Exactly that.
Is it hot here?
It is hot, girl. That is the entire point of that story, is go at your own pace. You will land where you need to land. Michelle said, I was thinking I only bloom after coffee. I mean, her say, did it? Okay, thank you. All right, we are at the top of our time. I am loving being back.
Yeah.
Shady is a nutcase. So let me see.
Mommy's a nutcase. Like her nuts.
What? Girl, bye. Please go away. Jesus, that's going to be recorded. Sally says, adornment of bodies has deep ancestral roots. It does. I am, like you see, I've had my nose pierced since I was 11. And I keep waist beads and ankle bracelets and tattoos and all of this stuff. Tiffany says, I love her. I do too. She's an insane person. She is the most. Each one of my children have healed some part of me and my childhood. And I will tell you, this kid, when her dad and I were together, he was so tickled by her absurdity, right? That was like, I used to tell him, I'm like, you healed something in me. I'm like, I know you love me because if you think that this is cute, I know you love me because she is really me. And it is so interesting to raise someone so tiny and so absolutely absurd. But I've always been an absurd person, so I really respect her. It's not always fun. It's not always easy, but I definitely respect her as a person. Tiffany says, I definitely feel like I get a glimpse of you as a child through her. Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. My dad passed when I was 11, so it was so beautiful to see them together. And just like, I was like, oh, you're an insane God. I wish my parents were alive so I can call them and be like, my bad. I'm sorry. Because she's absurd, but fun. So anywho, that is our day for today. Thank you guys for being here, for coming back so joyously. And also here, I wanted to show you the ease of the brush. Check it out. Watch this. I heated it up and I forgot, but Shady came and told me it was hot. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. What? You guys. Isn't that insane? It's literally a brush. I'm so in love with this. Look at that. Yo. Anywho. So that's my fun little toy. And that is my day. Can you add the brush link to the replay? I can, actually. I can do that. Isn't it amazing? That's $25 I spent. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep my hair. That hair flip. Did you like that, Christina? That's my jam. That is my jam. So, you guys, what are we talking about? Oh my God. It's not going to be tomorrow. I feel like it's kind of a bummer. I want it to be tomorrow. But it's not going to be tomorrow because I am taking the advice that I am offering to you guys, right? Allow yourself to go slow. Show up the best that you can, where you can actually show up fully. The whole point of this work is so you can show up fully, so you can exist wholly, right? And if we do it every day, it can be depleting, right? Because many of you are here and you're doing work elsewhere and other places and all of the things. And you got to kind of take a break. You got to breathe. So we will be back on, what is today? Monday. We'll be back on Wednesday. And let me see what is our subject on Wednesday. Let me open up my notes. What are we talking about on Wednesday? Wednesday. Why are my notes not readily available? I'm going to do better. In my mind, I was doing better. Less liberation lessons. Wednesday. The lie of urgency. It's not too late. It's too rushed. Dismantling the grind in your growth. Look at me. I am prepared sometimes. So that's what we'll be discussing on Wednesday. There will be this link in the replay. Ooh, you like that was a show? Yeah. Stay tuned. We'll be discussing that on Wednesday. The link to the brush. This is me reminding myself. So when I go through the transcript, the link to the brush in there. Lisa Miller. Was that was her name? The doula. I want her to or reach out to her to get the information because you do need support. Test doulas, abortion doulas, grief, loss, all of that is super necessary. And I can't do all of these things. Ariana says, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you. Yes, Dinah, Wednesday. Angela. Okay, thank you, Tiffany, because I'm terrible. So Angela Miller. I will look that up on the when they give me the replay. But that's what we'll be discussing on Wednesday. Also there'll be some other links. I am partnering with people in June. Myself and Lady Speech Sankofa have become insta besties. She is amazing in real life, like I assumed she would when I met her a couple years ago on TikTok. But in real life, she is that much more amazing. And we will be doing Cinema and Conjure. And guess what our first movie is? Guess. We were gonna do Sinners, but it comes out because it's doing so amazing in the movie theaters. The streaming has been delayed. Subtitles for Lisa. Oh my God, Michelle, I love you. Thank you. Yes, I will be emailing Substack to see if they could do those live. And offering her a scholarship because she can't appreciate this live. So thank you for that. Shit. Now I lost what I was saying. Oh, we were gonna do Sinners. But because it's doing so amazing in the box office, their streaming is not coming. So guess what our first movie for Cinema and Conjure is? You ready? You ready? Practical Magic. Because I love that movie. She loves that movie. Who doesn't love that movie? So we are going to be doing Practical Magic. I'll put that link in there. And then myself and Royal Soul will be offering a 30-day live once a week meditation and shadow work prompts for white-bodied folks leaving white supremacy and how to really help unravel those sorts of things. Tiffany said, oh my God, I love that movie. Who the fuck doesn't love that movie? And why? And if they don't, I probably don't even trust you. I'm just letting you know that right now. Let's just put that out there. That's my bias. Why we thought that was going to be fun is it's almost like these opposites, right? You're still talking about twins, but you're talking about girl twins, boy twins, white twins, black twins. There's a lot of duality inside of that, right? It's really exciting. It's really exciting how we are approaching this, what we are doing, and how we are bringing that into the work of liberation. And I am super excited. Yes. And if you are actually live and able to be here in Atlanta, because Michelle says put the lime in the coconut and drink it all up, it will be a full on experience, right? Like we have Monique from Everything Empanadas. She will be making food that pairs with it, right? Because it's cinema and conjure. Conjure is to call up. So all of those things will be in there. Drinks, food. It's going to be awesome. Who knows? Maybe it turns into a film festival on a regular basis after the shot. We don't know. We're going to allow things to go and grow and partner and move and heal and love and laugh because you need it all. It has to all be happening at the same time. We are not killing ourselves in order to heal. Okay? That's it. We will be back on Wednesday talking about urgency. And I love you guys. It's been fun. Thank you. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for coming back. It's very special to me. All right. Bye. You want to say bye, Shady? Lord have mercy.
Bye 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 bye.
Oh. Okay, girl. They see you. Golly. Lord have mercy.
Bye. Bye.
Michelle said bye, Shady. X and O. Angela says bye. Lisa says best start of my day. Me too, friend. Me too. Tiffany says thanks for coming back. Yeah.
Bye.
Again, we're gonna keep coming back, aren't we?
Bye.
Love to you too, Angela. Okay, girl. Bye. Oh Lord, Jesus. Lisa said bye, Shady. Talk to you guys on Wednesday. Bye. Oh, Lord. Go back to school, girl.